Hello, fellow UNC Bears. It is my honor to join you in this virtual celebration of the 2021 UNC Honored Alumni Ceremony. The tradition of recognizing UNC's distinguished graduates dates back to 1947. Over the many decades since, UNC has come together to celebrate the accomplishments of our alumni and honor their contributions to their alma mater. Although most of us are accustomed to celebrating this annual tradition in person, the virtual format this year still provides a meaningful opportunity to connect. It also allows us to share this celebration with Bears living within and beyond our campus borders. I am very proud of this year's honorees, and I believe you will also be inspired by their generosity and dedication. They are alumni leaders who collectively exemplify the university's values and the strengths of our community. Their individual acts of volunteerism, philanthropy, and advocacy for educational attainment mirror UNC's strong commitment to advancing student success. Becoming a students' first university is at the core of our 10-year strategic planning efforts. Our plan, titled Rowing, Not Drifting 2030, was developed after an extensive collaborative process with university stakeholders, including the Alumni Association Board. The foundation of this plan contains our vision statement, 5 vision elements, and 2030 outcomes to guide our work over the next decade. One of the 5 vision elements is to connect and celebrate. We strive to unite our community even more in the coming years, leveraging our collective voice to promote UNC with pride. We also seek to celebrate accomplishments as much as possible because our hardworking Bears, past and present, deserve special recognition. The Honored Alumni Program is an important part of this effort. Congratulations to our 2021 Honored Alumni. You are all very deserving of this special recognition. I hope you enjoy the virtual ceremony, and I look forward to reconnecting with you back on campus again soon. Go Bears!
Hello everyone, my name is Karen Barton and I am a professor of Geography, GIS, and Sustainability here at the University of Northern Colorado. I've been asked to give the introduction for Mr. Stephen Maurice, who is one of this year's UNC Honored Alumni awardees. In 2018, I had the privilege of getting to know Mr. Maurice. He had heard about a study abroad trip that we had recently done to Guyana in South America, as well as an upcoming course to Nepal to work in the Kathmandu Valley in the wake of the Gorkha earthquake. He was really intrigued by this work. He had been a donor to UNC, where he graduated in 1972 for quite some time, but he was fascinated by some of the projects that had an experiential learning component. So since 2019, we've developed a really great relationship, our program and his foundation, and we're pleased to not only call him a partner, but also a friend. It's been a real honor to learn more about his family and some of the things they've been through the past few years, and I am grateful for that partnership. So please join me in celebrating Mr. Stephen Maurice, class of 1972, as well as his family, for all of the work they've done, not just for their backyard communities in Iowa, but across the United States. Congratulations, Stephen.
Good memories, small town. I loved the wide streets. Some other good memories, going to the library a lot. And that's an inside joke because there was a bar and it was called the library. Loved it. Plus it was the 60s. That was a good campus at the time. I went through a really different time too. Like I said, the 60s was a huge exchange of ideas in politics. It broadened my mind a lot, just just seeing students from all over the country. Yeah, it was one of those things. My dad, he ended up, after he got out of college, and took over a job in a bank. And so he was always trying to push everybody. I had two brothers and an older sister. And so they were all being pushed to get into finance. And I was as well when my time came. I liked playing music. When I went to college, I still wanted to play music, but my dad says, I'm not paying a dime if you want to go to college. So I said, okay, I'll go into finance. And as soon as I graduated, I left before graduation because I had a job offer back in Iowa. And I came back here and I did that for 10 years. And our CEO of that bank quit. That made me sit down and really think about what it was I really wanted to do. And I decided that I didn't want to be the president of that bank. So everybody said, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to play in a band. I played saxophone, clarinet, flute, Irish button accordion, harmonica, penny whistle. We did some opening for Leon Redbone, and we got a grant from the Iowa Arts Council, which quadrupled our income, and we played at all kinds of small colleges all over. We're still together. It's 41 years we've been together. I was following UNC on LinkedIn, and I came across an article about the geography department doing trips abroad. And when I saw that, I realized that I'd like to donate to that because I think they need to have somebody giving money for a scholarship for students. When I saw that they were going to Nepal and those places, and that they were helping out with the environmental problems they had there, I just thought, that's a really good thing to show geography students.
It is with great pleasure that I introduce Dr. Larry Miller as the 2021 UNC Honored Alumnus. Larry is very proud of his time at UNC and was particularly appreciative of the encouragement, support, and occasional nudges he received from his professors in the chemistry department during his undergraduate years. He arrived as the first in his family to attend college, and he went on to graduate school and a life full of chemistry, exceptional experiences, and noteworthy contributions to the chemistry profession and academia. Larry believes his success would have been difficult to achieve without the support he received as an undergraduate student, and his scholarship recognizes the important role Colorado State College played in his life. He chose to help similar UNC undergraduate students achieve their goal of pursuing chemistry graduate school with the establishment of the Larry L. Miller Chemistry Scholarship. His personal and professional accomplishments, as well as his gift to the chemistry department, are unique and will hopefully inspire other students who have similar experience and aspirations. Congratulations, Larry.
So I always wanted to be a teacher. That's why I came to Greeley. So in the chemistry department, those guys, Dr. Beal, the famous Dr. Beal from chemistry, and Dr. Koch, really led me on. They were my mentors. And in the department, then I found myself, not just about chemistry, but who I was. But it gave me the confidence it gave me the motivation. By finding yourself, who you are and what you'd like to be. That's what they gave me, and that's so important. And they pointed me to a good grad school, encouraged me to go to grad school, and it made my life, really. So it really got me going then to be eventually a professor, first in Fort Collins, actually, and then I moved to Minneapolis at the University of Minnesota. The most rewarding experiences are approval by students. I taught at the University of Minnesota, I taught large organic chemistry lecture sections. To have their approval, it was extremely important. I was the first one in our department to use student ratings, and they responded to it, and very positively. It was so important to me to know that they liked the way I was trying to do things. Well, I did research in organic chemistry and electrochemistry, and it was extremely rewarding. I had I had about 40 PhD students who graduated, about maybe 40 postdocs who came to study with me from actually all over Europe and Japan and China, working with a student to work out the idea or not, and then bring it to fruition is very, very rewarding. Jim Schreck, Professor Emeritus from Northern Colorado, recognized him for even thinking to nominate me and supporting me in all this process. But also I want to thank especially Darren Thrun. And finally, I want to thank my wife, Bobby. She does everything for me. Yeah, those people deserve my thanks, and to you and to the Alumni Association. Very much surprised by it, and I very, very much appreciate it.
I nominated Betty for this award because she's awesome. One of the key things that inspires people around her, she had this first career, what I would call sort of a traditional career of 39 years, teacher, administrator, all of the things that could have said, okay, now we'll retire. She was a great teacher. And then at the end of that, she said, I'm not quite done. So she went to work for this organization that does research and teaches teachers and administrators how to be better at that job. By taking what she learned at UNC and the people that she met at UNC and now taking it out into the world, she's taught students and administrators from around the world. That's the example that you want. Take what you learn here and spread the seed out into the universe, if you will.
I have so many memories of my time at UNC, and my time is rather lengthy because I came in as a freshman in 1968. I pledged a sorority in spring of my freshman year, so I was an Alpha Phi. I am an Alpha Phi. In my sophomore year, I was walking across campus and there was this big poster that said pom-pom tryouts, and I thought, why not? I lived at Ross Hall, and I majored in biology and chemistry, and I was thinking that my life would be complete if I had a high school classroom. I took a job in a middle school thinking anyone can survive 1 year in a middle school. And Dr. Roger Taylor calls middle school students puberty-stricken schizophrenics. And he's right. They are the most wonderful and strangest creatures to walk the face of the earth. You come in every day and you put your crash helmet on and you tighten your seatbelt and you ride the ride with them. And so I did that for 17 years and I loved every minute of it. I went on to be an administrator, and that was a way to sort of multiply what you got to do and the effect of what you got to do with many, many teachers and students. Finished my master's work in 1980, and that opened huge doors to be a curriculum director and to do that kind of work. It was in science education. And then May 10th of 2002, I had my doctorate conferred with honors, and that just opened floodgates. That finished my work as an administrator in Weld RE1, but then allowed me to go on to McCrell International, and phenomenal things happened there. I was tapped to be on author teams for 4 different books, and we traveled nationally and internationally working with principals and teachers who want to make a difference in the lives of the children they have the privilege of working with. There's a phrase that says, iron sharpens iron and people sharpen people. And I believe that's what teachers do. We sharpen the intellect of others and we build curiosity. I think curiosity is this wonderful piece that just allows us to explode. There are hundreds and hundreds of people that you really think packed my parachute. And I know right off the top, it's my son Tom and my husband Don. I have a best friend, Kathy Antwistle, who is really my soul sister. Thanks to my mom, she pushed us. So I thank my brothers who support, and we support each other through so many things, but also my mom. The softball gang is this group of people who support each other and cheer each other on. And professors, teachers, dear friends, gosh, the list just goes on. The colleagues that I had in Weld RE1 and the colleagues that I had when I worked at McCrell, and the people who hired me out in the field, the committee who put me in this chair right now. I have to be so grateful for that. But I am thankful for all the people who have contributed so much to my life.
I nominated my father because we haven't always had like the best relationship, but I've grown to like be closer with him, and I've seen like the impact he's made on a lot of kids throughout my life in high school as well as like outside of school as well. He's a math teacher at Greeley West High School. Everyone knows him at that school is like, oh, he's tough if you're screwing up, but like he cares. So. And a lot of the kids realize that too. Like, I think what he does to inspire them mostly would be just he makes a connection to them. Like, a lot of the times I would see my father just like pull kids outside class and have a conversation with them, or he would sit in the back of class, or I even seen him like coming for school. He would just make an effort to show these kids that he cared. I had him in AP stats. I know he teaches college algebra as well. And regular algebra. I don't know, he kind of does it all. He's really smart. He's a nerd. I think everyone would agree with me. I think that he's harder on himself than a lot of people are. He's a good person.
Growing up in Greeley in the 70s and 80s, you wanted to get out of Greeley. I went to Fort Lewis College, and then I went to University of Colorado in Boulder. Did not have any connections going to school in Boulder. I was just kind of a number, I think, among 30,000 students. And in the meantime, I had been volunteering at adult education centers where I was living, and I kind of fell in love with teaching. And so I went back to UNC. I remember the first week that I got back into Greeley, I reconnected with a father of one of my good friends growing up, Ray Romero. And Ray Romero was the director of the Center for Human Enrichment. I got my first job at UNC as a math tutor through the Center for Human Enrichment. I got a summer job with Dr. Ernie Andrade, who started the Cumbres program at UNC. By the time that I finished my teaching degree in math, I had been in the classrooms already. I was volunteering in the summer for the summer migrant school. I volunteered to be an assistant coach. The kind of a theme here is that growing up in Greeley as a Greeley kid, I had these connections to UNC, and those connections helped me start my career as a teacher. And so when I started teaching at Greeley West in 1998, I was teaching with some of my former teachers. And so my former teachers ended up mentoring me for the first 5 or 10 years. I'm one of 4 or 5 Latino teachers at Greeley West. And so sometimes I feel like I have a higher calling at Greeley West in terms of mentoring Latinos and pushing them and giving them some self-confidence and determination. Receiving the UNC Honored Alumni Award, I think this is an award for all Greeley kids. And so, you know, I got this saying in my classroom of, you know, that we're tough Greeley kids. I consider myself a tough Greeley kid with them, and so this award is for all tough Greeley kids. Ray Romero, Ernie Andrade, Carlos Liel, thank you for mentoring me, my math professors in the math department, and then, you know, my family, my wife, my boys have given me purpose. You know, my mom and dad, without them having that strict requirement of education, I wouldn't be here.
I am honored to introduce Nancy Wenderad as a 2021 UNC Honor Alumna. I have known Nancy since she was an undergraduate student at UNC, and I have been following her career and accomplishments ever since then. She is an inspirational and committed professional who has been and continues to be actively involved in the Greeley and UNC community. Nancy's efforts to relentlessly represent and promote UNC, as well as her extensive community work, deserve recognition. Nancy has been actively involved in our Alumni Association. Her community work includes involvement in many organizations that center their efforts from health to women's issues. In the field of education, Nancy has devoted her professional life to work with migrant students and those who are learning English as a new language. Nancy is a humble, cooperative, compassionate, and courageous woman who is always willing to help others without hesitation. Her human qualities, coupled with her impressive community and professional work, make her a perfect candidate for this honor. She is an excellent role model for our current and future students. Felicitaciones, Nancy, por quien eres y por lo que haces por nuestra comunidad. Congratulations, Nancy.
You know, after spending 11 years with District 6 as an attendance liaison, which in the olden days used to be called truancy officer. And you know, I like working with students, but it got to the point that I thought I can make more of a difference by becoming a teacher. And again, you know, being a little older than the rest of my peers, often the principals, other teachers came to me and asked, would you like to mentor so-and-so? So I did a lot of mentorship. So I'm like, Nancy, teaching is calling you. Listen and follow that call. So UNC was the perfect fit for me to do that. Once I started at UNC, my biggest connection, you know, because I decided I am going to be a teacher and I want to teach Spanish because it's my native language. I love that, so I want to teach the world to speak Spanish. And being an English learner, you know, when I immigrated to the States, I did not speak any English. So naturally, I wanted to do both. So I started with Spanish ESL endorsement, and I needed to take an intercultural communication class. And I took that class with Dr. James Koch. He made such a positive impact in my life that I decided to do a double major and do Spanish, ESL, and communication. You know, I firmly believe in paying it forward. I'm so grateful for the scholarships that Cumbres offered to me, for the scholarships that Ryder received to the Stryker Institute. So as a teacher, I don't make a lot of money. I cannot donate monetarily to the university, but I donate my time. Wow, receiving the Honored Alumni, I mean, to say that I'm honored doesn't even cover how I truly feel. You know, I would like to recognize, well, first of all, Dr. Madeline Millian will be one. I would like to recognize my husband, Gideon. He's always been my #1 supporter on anything I do. Definitely my mother. My mom did not have the opportunity to go to college, but she instilled that in my siblings and I. Oh, how important it is to get an education. I mean, she's my biggest hero. Definitely my daughter. I definitely also would like to thank Chris Garcia from the Alumni Association, Christina Edwards, Lindsay Cram. Everyone at that office that I deal with always made me feel so welcome and made me feel at home.
The annual Honored Alumni Awards ceremony is a hallmark celebration for our university community, and one that I personally look forward to each year. Although 2021 required that we change the manner of our celebration, I hope that you are no less inspired by the stories that we've shared with you today. In my role as Vice President for University Advancement, I have the privilege to meet and know many of UNC's outstanding graduates. I can say with certainty that UNC alumni go on to accomplish amazing things in their personal lives and professions. And while we proudly celebrate the accomplishments of all UNC graduates, there are often a few that we choose to shine a light on as model alumni. Individuals who remain committed to UNC long after graduation. Individuals whose service and contribution to our community inspire and enable future generations to attain a UNC education that will change their life. The Honored Alumni Awards have long been our opportunity to celebrate these individuals and to recognize their stories as an important part of our university story. And what a story we have written this past year. Like all parts of our university, the past 12 months have asked so much of our alumni, and I am so grateful that you have responded. UNC alumni and friends stepped up to support student emergency funding early in the pandemic. You rallied around our call to offer job and career assistance to the class of 2020, and you've remained connected to UNC and one another through virtual and other creative programming all year long. While the Honored Alumni Awards program is our chance to recognize our outstanding graduates, this event also offers a chance to reflect and acknowledge our entire university community. Your collective generosity and Bear pride prove that our community remains connected and strong, no matter the adversity we face. I want to close by expressing my heartfelt gratitude to every member of our community for all that you have done to support UNC this year. Thank you. I sincerely hope to see you at an in-person event in the near future, whether on campus or in one of the many cities that our alumni call home. Because no matter where we may be, we will believe, once a Bear, always a Bear. Thank you for joining us this year.